Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargava. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. Yesterday we spoke about whether a durable recovery has set into the Indian economy such as to get us out of the present crisis, or whether what we are witnessing is a mere temporary improvement on account of the pent-up demand and on account of the festival demand spending. All kinds of contrasting, conflicting opinions prevail about the present condition of the economy. The fact of the matter is that India's economy is in an uncertain and unpredictable mode at the moment, such that we would be unsure of its direction with any reliable accuracy. Numerous predictions and estimates prevail depending on what side of the political situation you are. India at the moment witnesses extreme partisan politics, and because of that, even the judgment about the condition of the economy differs sharply. Those who are the optimists are those who are with the government, and they have been seeing green shoots of recovery since many months, despite the fact that the economy was very much slowing down. On the other hand, those who are not on the side of the government are the pessimists. They predict doomsday. They say that the Indian economy has been contracting. The Indian economy has been in a recession for the first time in history, and therefore for them, all is not well. In between these are the unbiased realists who say that it is a time to wait and watch, who say that it is too early to predict anything at the moment, and that you must keep your fingers crossed because it's a time of uncertainty. Sharp differences of opinion even prevail within the government sources. While the Reserve Bank of India is on record saying that it expects the economy to contract by 9.5% in this financial year, on the other hand, according to the finance minister, India's economy in this financial year should witness a zero growth, neither contraction nor any kind of an expansion. Amidst all these contrasting and conflicting and contradictory opinions are, however, some common elements. The common elements are that uncertainty prevails in the Indian economy, that a contraction is taking place, that COVID fear prevails, and that the road to recovery will be long despite and after the COVID crisis getting over. The consensus that comes out of these common elements is that a sharp contraction will take place in the Indian economy in the financial year 2021, and that growth, if any, is expected only from the first quarter of the coming calendar year. Let us keep aside all these conflicting and extreme estimates and predictions about the state of the Indian economy, and let us consider what are the opinions of the Monetary Policy Committee members of the RBI. The Monetary Policy Committee consists of eminent economists and eminent officials of the RBI, and they meet at least once in 2 months. They deliberate upon a lot of data, lot of predictions, studies, surveys, and estimates, and then they formulate what is their individual opinion about the status and state of the Indian economy, and on that basis, they come to a collective opinion on the monetary policy of the RBI. Their opinion serves as a genuine and reliable estimate of the state of the economy, and let us have a look at those in order to decide for ourselves what is the state or condition of the Indian economy today. Let's look at what Dr. Shashank Bhide, an eminent economist and member of the MPC, says. In the opinion of Dr. Bhide, the contraction that took place in Q1 of this financial year was a severe shock to the economy which affected both income and employment. In other words, businesses got affected, and so was the case of their employees. He further points out that the contraction that took place in consumption as well as investment, and he mentions that the contraction was sharp. He therefore says that policy must restore the health of those firms who have lost both revenue and income on account of this contraction. In the opinion of Dr. Bhide, revival of consumer demand needs revival of consumer confidence, because if the consumer is not confident, he is not going to spend and demand will not come. And he further says that the economic activity that we are witnessing in the past couple of months, in his opinion, it shows some kind of a revival in the economy. His key issue, as we note, is contraction took place severely, in income and employment and investment and spending. Let us now consider what is the opinion of Dr. Ashima Goel, an eminent economist and a member of the MPC. In her opinion, there has been a sharp fall in growth in the economy. She then notes that inflation has been much above target. But according to her, inflation should moderate very quickly in the coming months, and that's because of the food surplus and agri reforms that have taken place by the government. In the opinion of Dr. Goel, there is scope for yet another spending by the government in order to boost demand. In other words, there is scope for yet another stimulus package which can be announced by the government. And then she says that conditions are ripe in order to have a turnaround in India's financial system. The salient feature of her opinion, according to us, is that there is a scope for yet another stimulus package by the government. We then come to the opinion of Dr. Jayant Verma. Dr. Jayant Verma notes that a significant part of the cuts in the interest rates, have not been transmitted in the long-term interest rates in India, and because of that, he says, a lot of damage is being caused to the economy and that needs to be rectified. Let us now see the opinion of Dr. Mridul Sagar, an RBI nominee on the MPC. According to him, investment has fallen, but it will take many years for it to come back. He then says that the disrupted supply chains in India will be normalized only by the end of 2020 unless COVID comes back in a major way. And he then says that the current interest rates are negative, and if that continues, then India's savings rate will certainly fall down. The point to note in his opinion is to do with investment taking a number of years to come back. In other words, it will be a long haul to recovery. We then go to the opinion of Dr. Michael Patra. Dr. Patra says that India is in a recession technically, and that is the first time in Indian history. He says that it will take many years in order to regain and restore the lost output because of this pandemic. Dr. Michael Patra then says that the present recovery that we are witnessing in the economy, it may last only up to the time the pent-up demand is met and inventories are replenished. In other words, it may fizzle out thereafter. In other words, it is not really a durable and sustainable recovery. He then makes a very interesting statement. He says that history says that those recoveries and revivals in the economy which took place on account of consumption spending, they tend to be short-lived and they are shallow. On the other hand, it is an investment-led recovery which is long-term and durable, indicating that that is what policy needs to meet. He then of course says that there is a difference between a false start on account of consumption-led recovery and a durable start on account of investment-led recovery. The high point of his opinion, according to us, is to do with the right policy for a right recovery. Target an investment-led recovery versus a consumption-led recovery. We then come to the opinion of Dr. Shaktikanta Das, the RBI governor. Dr. Das says that revival in the economy may be led by rural demand and not led by urban demand because of the robust rural economy of India at the moment. He then says that revival and recovery is bound to be multi-speed as per sectoral realities. Some sectors may recover fast, some will not. Private investment activity, according to him, may be subdued despite the easing of the financial conditions in the economy. And then he says that costs of doing business have gone up in India because of the cost of sanitization, social distancing, and labor shortage. Inflation, according to him, should ease in the coming months, that is in the second half of the current financial year. So what is the state of the economy and what is the estimate of the direction of the economy that emerges on account of these opinions of these six wise men who are the members of the MPC? The first one, of course, is that the government needs to spend. The government needs to spend in order to give a boost to demand for short-term recovery of the economy. So the first is the government needs to spend and it can spend. The second is if you want to boost consumer demand, then you will need to boost consumer confidence. The third is interest rate transmission needs to take place in long-term interest rates of the economy, otherwise it's causing damage to the economy. Then investments are needed. Investments are needed in order to give a long-term revival to the economy and boost its growth. And such investment will take time to come back because of the receding confidence in the economy. We also need to be clear that we need to target investment-based recovery, and policy and reforms must be tailored towards that. And finally, let us not delude ourselves by saying that recovery has taken place only because there is demand in the economy at the moment. As Dr. Michael Patra says, it could be a false start. We think that these opinions of the MPC members are a reliable, genuine and dependable opinion about what is the status of the economy and where is it headed to. And policy formulation must take them into account. This is Akhilesh Bhargava signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.